Alright, so I watched an anime recently called Yakuza Fiancee. This is getting annoying. I don't like romance, I swear, but I just keep finding good romance anime. And I do recommend it, although it does feel like the story isn't just unfinished, but more like a third of the way done. The season also ends on an abrupt note, but yeah, still pretty damn good. What is it about? A match made in heaven. A granddaughter of a Yakuza boss from Osaka is told to visit another Yakuza family in Tokyo, who just happened to have a young man her age. Truly, it was meant to be. Will they get together and live happily ever after? Or will she sell her organs while he works as a gigolo and suggests that she prostitutes herself? Find out in this heartwarming Yakuza story. So what did I enjoy? I know this is meant to be a drama or romance or even a thriller at times, but I honestly loved this for the comedy here. It's not consistent, nor is it even that brilliant, but it seems to pop up at the oddest times and always caught me by surprise. You could have a serious moment or Kirishima being a sick MFer, but then suddenly Yoshino makes a snarky comment and I burst out laughing. It reminds me of a few other anime series which aren't meant to be comedic but somehow work out that way. Because let's be honest, life is just absurd. Even if you are in organized crime, sometimes you have to look at yourself and realize that life is just a joke. Right. So aside from that, I'd say that the overall level of quality is fairly damn high. These kids are written like adults, which, well, it makes sense considering their background. And I'm very much starved for content like this. Power of friendship and average Japanese high schoolers get so old. But this happens to actually be about Japanese high schoolers, which are about to turn 18. Yeah, I'm undermining my own point. I'll just say what the perspective is refreshing and stop at that. The characters were also enjoyable, period. I don't even know how to describe my feelings about them. They are written in a certain way. I guess I'll just spoil episode 1. It's not a big deal. So, Kirishima, the main guy, tells Yoshino, the main girl, that she's boring. And that she's a typical spoiled rich girl. She should probably sell her body and make a few million in just a few months, since he has connections. She walks off, sells her kidney, slams the cash on his desk like it's no big deal, then threatens the girl who was bullying her because this dreamy dude was showing her attention. This whole scene is probably the reason why I've had my eyes on this, but there are a few more highlights like this here and there. Both of these kids are strange and fascinating. Also probably the only lengthy scene in school. Most of it is on the streets, houses or seedy places, which is again a plus. It's not really about the school kids, it's about the children of criminals. In fact, I enjoyed the whole Yakuza perspective in general. It's shown to be going on in the background, but none of the characters in the spotlight are actually directly involved in the business. They appear here and there, but generally are very hands-off. It makes the world seem more mysterious and gritty. To be frank, I have no idea how Yakuza business is run, but that's pretty much what I would imagine. People going out at odd times of night, severe beatings for minor infractions, whispers behind closed doors, soundproofed basements, easy access to actors, businessmen, weapons and organ trade, lavish lifestyle. It's not really all about going around beating up shopkeepers for protection money. It's a lot more complicated than that. So this particular aspect was done really well, which also leads into the fact that there is a whole lot of story going on in the background. And I'm gonna spoil more. It's heavily implied that one of the families is trying to start a war, and the main characters would be the catalyst for it. If someone ends up killing Yoshino, it is bound to provoke Osaka branch. Yet it's obviously in other people's interest to keep the status quo, so there's a whole lot of backstabbing politics going on, even if nothing is visible on the surface. It reminds me of Shogun, which tracks. I'd imagine the samurai spirit is still strong within Yakuza. Alright, so what did I dislike? Like I said, the length is a problem. It's strongly implied that there is about to be a major development within the families, and nothing is actually on the screen. The last episode is a calm before the storm, a little delay to have a lover's quarrel before the actual hell breaks loose. And the arc which happens before that frankly made little sense to me, and it's pretty lengthy by the way. It is still cool and there is a lot of mind games and twists, but the setup, a reasoning for it, that confused me. Because it doesn't really track. It doesn't make sense for these characters to involve themselves in this situation. I kept waiting for some reason, for some explanation why, but it just happens, which is okay, but it's again, early on in the story. If there are problems with motivation now, imagine how much more confusing it can get later on. Which also means that the later seasons, if they do happen, might go down in quality significantly. Which is disappointing. Really, I'd still say this is damn good. I assumed it would be some sort of good girl meets bad guy story, or the opposite. But then it quickly shows what everyone here is a scumbag. They kinda deserve each other. And it's not even necessarily a romance. It's clearly implied, but it's not like they get awestruck staring at each other and jump through fields of flowers in slow motion. No, not at all. She rejects him non-stop, and he is a freak and a degenerate. But it somehow works, and it still always feels like at any moment they are about to do something terrible to each other. And I love that. These people are messed up in the head, and I'm here for it. Also, I just want to bring up the ending. That was pretty cool. With her just lounging in that chair and walking, there's just something very cool about this whole thing. It reminds me of ending to Kakegurui. When she just walks out as the music picks up, I don't know how to describe it, but I find it very appealing. So that's another plus.